Pleasant day to everyone. Today we're going to discuss Module 4, Part 1 of C411, Highway and Railroad Engineering. In this lecture, we're going to discuss road safety and traffic accident analysis. To start off, we define accident as an unexpected or undesired event, which may result to property damage, serious or minor injuries, or fatality or death. So for accidents, we have many types of accidents. So this would include work-related accidents, accidents at home, fire-related accidents. And in this lecture, we're going to focus more on what we call traffic accidents. Traffic accident, also referred to as a motor vehicle collision, road accident, or traffic collision, is an accident or accident that would occur when there is a vehicle-to-vehicle collision, a vehicle-to-pedestrian, or a vehicle-to-road user collision, vehicle-to-animal collision, vehicle-to-stationary object on the road collision, and vehicle-to-road debris collision. So normally, in the Philippines, there would collisions happen between vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-pedestrian, vehicle-to-stationary object, and vehicle-to-road debris. So more common for other countries is the vehicle-to-animal collisions. So minimal lang pag dito sa Philippines. Okay? Since in other countries, there are more wild animals that are allowed to use the road. Okay? Since road accident could result to a fatality or death, which we call traffic death, this is now defined by the United Nations as a death that would occur within 30 days from the event. So meaning, if a person who was involved in a car accident or road accident, let's say on the first day of the month, and he died, let's say on the 18th, that death is counted as a traffic death or death due to road accident. But let's say if the accident occurred on the first day of the month and the person who was involved in the road accident died, let's say, on the 31st, then it happened already or the death already occurred after the 30 days. So meaning that death, even though it was caused or was an effect of the road accident, is not considered a traffic death anymore. While in the Philippines, a traffic death is defined simply as a death at the scene. So meaning, right after the road accident, the person involved has died. An injury resulting from road accident could be classified as either a serious injury or a slight injury or a minor injury. So the injuries will be based on the extent of the injury sustained and the length of time of recovery. So basically, if the injury is severe, it would now be under serious. And if it's just a scratch or bruises, it's considered as slight injuries. Also, with regards to length of time, if it would take, let's say, a year or more than a year to recover from the injury, we could say it's a serious injury. And if it would take only an hour to recover from the injury, or probably a day, that would be a minor injury. So we also have a property damage or an accident that would incur property damage only. This means that it would involve collisions of vehicles between public or privately owned structures, but there is no injured or there's no physical injury or fatality to the driver, the passenger, or a road user or a pedestrian. So the only result of the accident is a property damage. So according to the WHO or the World Health Organization, as of 2021, approximately 1.3 million people die each year as a result of road traffic crash or road traffic accident. 3% of the gross domestic product of most countries are given or is used for road traffic crash. And then, more than half of all road traffic deaths are among the vulnerable road users. So who are these vulnerable users? They are the pedestrians, the cyclists, and motorcyclists. So these are the people or road users that would most likely have no protection from these accidents or minimal protection from accidents. Still, according to WHO, as 2021, 93% of the world's fatalities on the roads occur in low and middle income countries, even though these countries have approximately 60% of the world's vehicle population. Road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death for children and young adults aged 5 to 29 years. And 73% of all road traffic deaths would occur among young males under the age of 25 years, who are almost 3 times as likely to be killed in a road traffic crash as young females. So meaning, males would be the most number of fatalities in traffic accidents, as there are more male drivers compared to female drivers. Then, for the age group of 5 to 29 years, as a leading cause of death, this would be caused by insufficient laws that would cover the safety of children and young adults for some countries. So in this short video of a traffic accident and an intersection, we could see now several factors or reasons why an accident could happen in or along the road. So if you have observed, one of them would be that the red car compared to the other vehicles is moving faster, meaning they are moving too fast or they are over speeding, which is one of the reasons or main reasons of road accidents. Another one, as you can see, is that the road or the intersection has limited or minimal road warning devices or road warning signs. Okay, so the only sign that we could see is a pedestrian walking on this side. And then if we're going to observe our pedestrian lane, which is used by the cyclist, it is it is on the very dangerous side of the road. So it's very near this lane of the intersection. So talagang mahahagip yung ating pedestrian or cyclist by the vehicles passing along this line or this direction. Okay, so in that case, the risk factors now listed by the WHO, so this is the latest risk factors as of 2021, is the speeding or overspeeding, the drivers driving under the influence, so this is either influence of drugs or influence of alcohol, and the non-use of motorcycle helmets, seat belts, and child restraints. And also, this would be another factor is the distracted driving or the use of mobile phones or any electronic devices while driving. So these factors now would fall under the category of human error. Other factors would now include unsafe vehicles or the factor of vehicles and unsafe road infrastructures, which are all interrelated. So if you can see, these factors now or causes of road accidents would be also contributed to the three elements of a road, which is human, the vehicle, and the environment. So aside from the factors related to the factors or elements of a road, factors or causes would also include for traffic accidents and traffic deaths would be inadequate post-crash care, meaning the emergency response of a country would be insufficient for traffic accidents. Another one is inadequate enforcement of traffic laws. So this means that even though a country have their specific laws concerning minimizing or preventing road accidents, the enforcement is slacking. They are not able to enforce it properly. That's why road users, drivers, pedestrians, and the like are not following it intently. And likewise, aside from inadequate enforcement, we could also add up here that the road users are not knowledgeable enough of these traffic laws. So in the Philippines, the risk factors or causes of road accidents based on the study of Tamayo in 2009 and from the WHO report of 2018, the causes of road accidents would include the driver's error at 26%, mechanical error at 12%, overspeeding at 18%, driving under the influence at 1%, damaged roads, meaning unsafe environment, unsafe infrastructure, it's at 5%, and all other causes that we have not enumerated here would be at 38%. So take note that speeding, which is driver's error, if we increase the mean speed, the ideal mean speed on the road, the fatal crash will also increase by 4%, and serious crash injuries would also increase by 3%. Okay, so just 1% increase in the advised or posted speed limits would be fatal already to the road users. In regards to enforcement, okay, what we have said, inadequate enforcement, if we apply the motorcycle helmet, there will now be 42% reduce in fatal injuries for motorcycle riders, and also a 69% reduction to acquiring head injuries. Enforcing the seatbelt use would now reduce 45 to 50% death or fatality for front seat occupants, that is for the driver and the front seat passenger, and a 25% reduction for the fatal and serious injuries for rear seat occupants. And enforcing child restraints would now decrease 60% of child death. According to the 2016 report of the Metro Manila Accident Recording and Analysis System, or MMARS, on road crashes, the fatal versus non-fatal number of accidents because of the risk would be the following. For no accident factor accidents, we have fatal accidents at 411 and non-fatal at 15,514. For driver error, we have 12 fatalities and 841 non-fatal. Driving under the influence, we have 0 fatal accidents versus 24 non-fatal accidents. Loss control, we have 3 fatal and 15 non-fatal accidents. And for vehicular aspect, mechanical defect would be 0 fatal and 5 non-fatal. And lost brake will be 5 non-fatal accidents. So if we could see, some of the causes of or some of our accidents would have no accident factor, meaning they were not able to identify the real cause of the accident, so there were no reported factor or cause of accident for our 15,514 cases. For the Philippine road traffic accidents, we are ranked 118 worldwide with a recorded 11.4 death rate for a population of 100,000. Out of all the reported deaths, 10,627 of this are all traffic related, or that is 1.74% of all reported deaths in the Philippines. This data is taken from the WHO 2018 Road Traffic Accident Deaths Report. Also, we have in 2019 the registered death of 620,400, wherein transport death or death due to traffic accident is the 10th leading cause for the male population, or that is the 3% of all deaths in the country in 2019. This is based from the report in the PSA, or the Philippine Statistics Authority. So according to the 2018 WHO report on road traffic accidents in the Philippines, motorcycles would contribute to 53% of all accidents on the road, with pedestrians being involved at 19%, four-wheeled vehicles at 14%, which will involve the drivers alone, and 11% involving passengers, 2% for cyclists, and 1% for other types of vehicles. This would now include trains, buses, and PUJs. For the motorcycles, which contributes to almost half or more than half of all recorded accidents in the Philippines, 23% of all road traffic deaths would be coming from this population. So in Metro Manila alone, the average daily traffic accidents, according to the 2020 annual report of the Metro Manila Accident Reporting and Analysis System, is recorded at 262. So meaning, if we are to estimate the daily traffics or the traffic accidents in the metro for a year, that would be like about 95,000. So that's 95,000 accidents just for Metro Manila, all of the cities in the metro. So if we include the other regions in the Philippines, we have 13 regions. So sabihin natin, nasa 50% lang per region. So malaki pa rin siya. In which there is really a need for us to take a look with regards to our accident prevention and the design of our highways. Okay? So for Metro Manila, in terms of the vehicle types, accidents or the types of vehicles that are prone to accidents would be cars, like your SUVs, which is at 47.01%, followed by motorcycles at 20.16%, vans 11.17%. So the third one is vans, since as if you are familiar in Manila, they are using
express vans as one of their main mode of transportation there, aside from cars and PUJs. Okay? Then we also have trucks at 8.43%, since Manila is one of the busiest economic hubs, so meaning laging meron deliveries doon. And then, aside from that, from Manila, it is where some of our products or produce would be coming from, or we deliver it to Manila as well. Okay? Then we have buses at 2.58% accidents for Metro Manila. Then bikes, pedicabs, e-bikes at 2.48%, taxis and FX at 2.43%. We have unidentified or unknown vehicle type, 2.15%. We have our public utility jeepneys at 2.04%. Tricycles at 1.55%. So not included in the chart are the accidents in railroads, since there's a minimal number of accidents reported compared to the number of accidents reported in highway. So at train would have 0% reported accidents for Metro Manila. Okay? So basically, since mas nagagamit natin yung highways and hindi ganon ka-develop yung ating railroad system, so we'd really expect that there is 0% accident in our railroads or in our trains. Okay? So in terms now of the accident type, meaning if the accident is fatal, non-fatal, or just damage to property, and classified again in terms of vehicle type, we have this chart. Okay? So if we're going to look at this graph or this chart, we could see that the highest number of accidents based from this is cars, followed by motorcycles. But if we are going to look at the type of accidents, most fatal accidents would be coming from our motorcycles. So more fatalities would be coming from motorcycles. Likewise, there's higher number of serious or minor injuries to motorcycles. So this is reasonable, since when you are riding in motorcycles, or motorcycles riders would have minimum protection from impact of the accidents. Unlike for cars, kahit na madaming accident yung car natin, mas protected naman sila doon sa impact of accidents, since there's safety devices that is installed for our cars. And aside from the butt, so yung impact nung collision, syempre mauuna muna doon sa makina bago tayo matatamaan. And then there's your airbags or seatbelts that would help you from some of the injuries in collisions. Okay? So based on the statistics of the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA, in 2006 to 2007, land transport accidents would have 2% on the average of the total registered deaths for the entirety of 2006 to 2017. Okay, so 2%. So medyo mataas pa rin yun. Okay, and then the number of cases from 2006 to 2017 would have doubled in value. So meaning, pataas ng pataas yung number of accidents natin. So we need to revisit the laws concerning road safety, the design of the road concerning road safety. Okay? And then, if we are going to look at the population of accidents in terms of gender, we could see that there is a higher percentage of deaths in terms of the males compared to the females. So there's a 5:1 ratio with regards to deaths due to accidents or road accidents. And based on the statistics, for males aged 20 to 29, it is the number one cause of death. Okay. So next we have for terms of our vehicle type. As we have seen in the previous chart, motorcycle riders would have the highest number of fatality with 72.7% of the death. So, hindi pa rin siya nagbago. This is from 2017. Yung chart natin is 2020. So, it's still consistent that the motorcycle riders are the first owners when it comes to fatality of traffic road accidents or traffic accident death. Okay? So, still under the statistics of PSA, the most number of deaths would be in 2017 would be during December, October, and April. So most basically, this is possible since December is a time where people would be traveling back and forth to their provinces to celebrate the holidays. And then for October, this would also be reasonable since at the end of October, people would be traveling again to their provinces to visit their loved ones for what's this, the Undas or the All Souls Day and All Saints Day. Okay? Then April usually vacation na nung mga bata. So summer time, so more travels. So there's a higher possibility of accidents. Okay? So with that, we now assess our road safety, which is defined or is measured in terms of the frequency or the rate of accident in a certain road section or in a region. So road safety, we could identify that the road is safe if the frequency of accidents is very minimum. Kung mataas yung frequency, yung rate of accident, then we could say that the road under study would be a hazardous location or a very or it attracts accidents more likely. So the key indicators for road safety would be the number of accidents, and if it is fatal, it is serious injury or just a minor injury, and the property to damage. So aside from the number of accidents, you have to also classify what kind of severity does the accident produce. And then aside from that, we also have the rates of accidents in your study area. So when we say rate, that would be the frequency of accident. So in assessing our road safety, we need to identify or we need to understand the key socioeconomic indicators that would be a factor in our road safety or frequency of accidents. So this is used to assess now our road safety conditions, and the socioeconomic indicators would include now the population of the country, or if we are looking at a smaller region, the population of the region. Then we have the gross domestic product of the country. So kung smaller region yan, yung economic value no city or no region. And then we have the vehicle registration or the number of vehicles registered in the country or in the region under study. So these three economic indicators or socioeconomic indicators now is already proven that for developing countries, when one or all of these factors, these indicators are increasing, there is also a potential of road accidents or the frequency of road accidents to increase as well. So, bakit? So, mas maraming population. Ibig sabihin, mas maraming tao ang possible na maaksidente. Okay? And then, kung mataas ang GDP, maganda ang economy ng country or ng region, meaning the population is able now to acquire vehicles. And if they are able to acquire vehicles, then the number of vehicles registered would also increase. Mas maraming sasakyan na nasa kalsada, mas malaki ang possibility to have for accidents to occur. Okay? So for our assessment of roads, we have the following equations that we are going to apply, which is related to the socioeconomic indicators that we have just discussed. So the first one is the accident rate depending on the population in terms of 100,000 population. And that is computed as the accident rate per population, A sub P, is equal to N over P times 100,000. So the EP will be a value in terms of 100,000 population or 100,000 people, wherein N is the number of accidents, P is the population of the area under study. So aside from this, we also have the accident rate per registered vehicles, or that is A sub V, so accident rate per number of vehicles, and that will now be in terms of 10,000 vehicles. So that's N over V times 10,000. So N again is the number of accidents in a certain time or in your study period. And then P is the population. V now is the number of registered vehicles. Okay. So next, we also have the accident rate at intersections. So why do assess the road safety at intersections of roads? Because it is proven in studies that accidents happen mostly at intersections, just like the video that we have watched in the earlier slides. Okay, so for intersections, accident rates now are computed as N divided by V times T times 365 times 1 million. So this is now, so the accident rates now will be in terms of 1 million vehicles entering or passing through the intersection under study. And then, aside from that, we also have accident rates for road sections or for length of roads. So for this, we have A sub S, which is now equal to almost the same here in accident rate for intersection. The only difference is that we also include the length of the road. And that will now be in terms of 100 million kilometers of road. Okay, so take note. Again, for N, that's the number of accidents in your study time. V, here is your annual average daily traffic, or the total number of vehicles entering the intersection, or the total number of vehicles entering the road section. T will be the time frame of our analysis, and that should be per year. So pag ang time natin is per year, then we have to convert it to days. That's why in our equation, we have 365. Kung ang given T is in days already, then you have to remove 365 in this equation. Okay? So, for road sections, L now will be the length of section measured in kilometers. So, you have to be consistent with your units if you're going to use your equations. So, if T is in years, you have to multiply it by 365 and then make sure that the length is measured in kilometers. Okay? So to understand now our assessment of road safety, let us solve some examples. So for the first problem, let's see, a town has a population of 350,000 in 2005. So in that same year, the number of accidents was recorded at 620, and that the number of registered vehicles were recorded 122,400. So we now determine the accident rate were given per population and per registered vehicles. So for our solution, so the accident rates per population, so we're given number of accidents at 620, population is at 350,000. So just apply the equation for accident rates per population, which is N over P times 100,000. So substitute the value, we have 620 over 350 times 100,000. So we get now a value of 177 accidents per 100,000 population. So for every 100,000 population, we could approximate that 177 accidents would happen. Okay? For letter B, the accident rate per registered vehicles would now be have 620 number of accidents, total number of vehicles is 122,400. So just apply our equation, AV, or the accident rate per vehicle is N over V times 10,000. So we have AV now is equal to 51 accidents per 10,000 vehicles. So we could now approximate in these terms that if there are 20,000 vehicles, we could approximate that a total accident for 20,000 vehicles would be approximately at 100 accidents. Okay? So ito yung accident rate natin per 10,000 vehicles. Ito yung accident rate per 100,000 population. So using this, we could now identify or we could estimate total accidents for a total population. Okay. So next example, we have a T intersection has 1,746 collision incidents in the last 3 years. So the annual daily traffic is shown in the figure here. Now we determine the rate of accident at our intersections. So to solve this rate at the intersection, let's summarize first our given. So we have number of accidents, 1746. We want to identify the rate of accident for a total of, so this number of accident is for 3 years. So the time frame will be 3 years. Total number of vehicles entering our intersection will simply be the sum of all these values, which will result to 56,058. Okay, so applying now our equation for intersections, N over V, T 365 times 1 million. So substituting now our N, V, and T. So we get a value of the accident rate at intersection equal to 28.4 accidents per MEV. So MEV stands for million entering vehicles. Okay. So next example, we have a stretch of 4-lane for a 2-way highway is 5 kilometers long, have a traffic volume of 35,000 vehicles per day. So if the total number of accidents recorded for the last 3 years was 1,900, what is now the accident rate per 1,000 or per 100 MVK? MVK now stands for million vehicles per kilometer. Okay? So with that, we are given now N, which is 1,900. V is 35,000. Our time frame or the recorded number of accidents is for a period of 3 years. So T is 3. We have a length of the section is 5 km. So just substitute this in our equation. So we now arrive at 991.5 accidents per 100 MVK. Or that's 100 million vehicle per kilometer. Okay? So for your evaluate, given down the number of accidents, population, and number of registered number, or the number of registered vehicles for each region in the Philippines, you now determine the region with the highest accident rate in terms of population and in terms of registered vehicles. Okay? So this is an individual activity and not by group. Okay, before we finish, aside from the 4 equations to assess the road safety, that's for population, number of vehicles, intersection, and road safety, we also assess road safety in terms of time of day. So it's already proven that most traffic would occur, or most of the traffic accidents, fatal traffic accidents, would occur during nighttime. And this will be proven by slide number 25 and 26. So contributing factors now for this result, for fatal accidents during nighttime, would be inadequate street lighting, lack of warning devices. So madilim yung kalsada, kaya nagkakaroon ng aksidente. Walang traffic signal, walang traffic signs. And then, there's a complete disregard of traffic signal during late nights or early mornings. So people driving during night usually tend to think that they own the road already because they assume that there are no other vehicles using the road. Then, aside from this, we also have other factors like night blindness. So pagdating sa gabi, lumalabo yung mata, unlike pag sa umaga. Then we have driving under the influence. So mostly at night, people tend to go out and drink to relax, pero nasusobrahan, and then they go drive, so there's an accident waiting to happen. And then we have glare, yung sisilaw yung driver doon sa mga headlights nung opposing or approaching vehicles. Okay? So for accidents by time of day, so according to Metro Manila Accident Reporting and Analysis System, so most fatal road crashes occur at night and wee hours of the morning. So according to MMERAS, the period between 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the night time. Okay? So for our data, we have here data of MMERAS from 2013, 14, 15, and 2020. So if we're going to look at this graph, we could see that most of the accidents do happen at daytime, but fatal accidents happen at nighttime. Okay? So kahit maraming accidents nangyari sa umaga, hindi siya fatal. Walang konti lang yung namamatay, yung serious injuries, permanent disabilities. But most would be during night. Okay? So these are some of the data that we could gather from 2010 to 2014 from HPG of the Philippine National Police. So in terms of occurrence of the accident, so nighttime, mas mataas siya dito. So pagko-compare natin, mas mataas yung accidents natin during night. Okay? So these are some of the okay, so that's it for the first part of Module 4, Road Accident Assessment, Introduction to Road Safety, Traffic Road Accidents, and Assessment of Road Safety. So for your references, you can check on these sites.